All right, hello everybody. This is a brief demo about the current workflow that I'm working on getting Seth's data into Unity and from there into a web browser in 3D. Here are the topics that we're going to cover. Also, I'm recording this with a new recording interface that Kati suggested. It's open source and free, and so if there are some hiccups, it's because I'm having a very new recording interface here. So the topics I'm going to cover in this video is importing Seth's STL files into Unity, understanding their hierarchical structure, then color them, then exporting them to GLTF, then importing that GLTF into Babylon, and from here on out, these two steps should be reproducible by anybody with a web browser and, of course, access to the data. And then I'm also going to show how to adjust those colors in Babylon. Okay, so we're going to use Babylon not just for viewing, but also for manipulating this 3D model. All right, so first I would like to discuss what exactly these STL files are. So here I'm in my Unity folder structure. These are the ginormous data sets that Seth shared. I'm going to focus on the cleared volume one here. We can see an STL folder here. So here are all of the different TIFFs, etc. And this is a separate STL export that we got from Seth. Specifically, I'm going to focus on channel 3 and channel 2 surface cleared kidney segmentation. So again, this is an STL format. STL is one of the many 3D formats. I think STL is pretty popular with 3D printing, among other things. So now here we are in Unity. You can see that I imported those two different STL files here, and I gave them a common parent, which I call cells. This is important for the import. Okay, so I want to talk about the hierarchical structure of these two STL files. So we can see that each of these has separate layers, like individual collections of cells in here. And if we go to the side view here, we can understand a little bit better what exactly these selections look like. And then what we can do is we can assign individual colors. Let me actually go around this a little bit. We can assign individual colors to each of these levels basically in the tree. We could theoretically assign individual colors to each of these collections. Although, of course, I don't know what these individual collections mean. From Seth's README, these two for now seem to be the most important levels between these data. But of course, this might need further input. So then I gave individual colors to the channel 2 and the channel 3. You can see it's a yellow and a cyan color. So that's how this was colored. And then I exported everything to GLTF, and we're going to have a look at this in the web browser here in a second. Okay, so now we are here in Babylon.js in the sandbox. And here I have the data that I have exported from Unity. So it comes as a zip. The zip, when you unpack it, has one folder called cells, which is the name of the parent object I showed you earlier. And then in there we have two files. We have a binary file, bin file, and we have a GLTF file. And now what you have to do, I'm going to provide a link to this folder. What you have to do is you have to have the folder open. You have to have the window open, and then you just drag and drop both, that's important, both of these files just in here. And this is probably going to take a second because this is a very big data set that has to be loaded. And here we are. And now we see Seth's data in a browser. You will notice that the camera control is kind of slow, just because, again, this is a lot of data to run in a web browser. And now what's even cooler is we can actually start manipulating this a little bit. So you'll want to bring up the editing tools here. And then here on the left side, if we go to nodes, and you should be familiar with this by now, we have a root node, and then we have cells, which again is the parent object. And then we have those two individual files. Those used to be STL files. This is exactly what we got from Seth, except now we can actually load it in a web browser. And then we can, again, target all of these individual collections. So now the really cool thing is if you go into materials, you will see that there are two materials that were exported from Unity. Material matte material design, channel 2 and channel 3. And now if I click on either of these and I go here on the right to lighting and colors, I can adjust this albedo property here to recolor these cells. So if I click this and then let's say I want to color this green, and just select a greenish color here. Similarly for channel 3, let's say I don't really like the yellow and the green together. I can go ahead and just color it. Let's just do purple. Here we go. So now we actually use Babylon.js for something more useful than just viewing a 3D model. Okay, that's it for this video. Again, I will share a link to this data set so that you can reproduce this workflow for yourself. Thank you.